Chevrolet, more J.D. Power initial quality awards than any other brand. 4 years in a row. And by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
Chris Buescher, the 2015 Xfinity Series champion, did not become the quickest in his group. He was fifth when he ran, now sixth. 47.51 for JTG Doherty Racing. And Danica Patrick, the 2013 pole sitter, is quickest, 47.04, picks it up by 8/100ths of a second over Austin Dillon. Here comes Jamie McMurray from Joplin, Missouri, 14 Daytona 500s, the 2010 winner for Chip Ganassi Racing, crew chief Matt McCall, and he is faster than Patrick by 2/100ths. McMurray quickest now.
Yeah, yesterday he ran a 46.92, so he slowed down just a teeny bit. Danica ran within a few hundreds of what she ran yesterday on her best lap.
Martin Truex Jr. is on the racetrack for Furniture Row Racing, but one of his teammate, whose car not yet out on the qualifying line.
Mike, we've documented since Friday the challenges that Furniture Row Racing has had, both with their Clash and 500 cars, getting them through inspection. Eric Jones' 77 car just pushed through the LIS. He's been green lighted. They had several issues with the grid and the LIS this afternoon trying to get this 77 car through. Right now the final touch is going on, checking the pressures. Michigander Eric Jones, he's off to the side with Chad Little, NASCAR official. He's waiting to get the green light that he can go ahead and climb in this 77 car. About 9 to 10 cars away, and the biggest sigh of relief really was for team president Joe Garone, as both cars finally are cleared.
Martin Truex Jr., his teammate and runner-up in last year's 500, goes to the top, 46.82, and that is a big 0.2 of a second faster than Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, you know, this team sat on the pole at Talladega last October, so no big surprise other than all the trouble that they've had since they've been down here.
That's a 10th quicker than he ran yesterday, by the way.
Jamie?
Well, Ryan Blaney waiting and watching. We were just talking about how so many drivers say there's not much we can do in qualifying here. It's all about the car. But there is a place that you really focus on. Where is that?
You know what? A lot of it is the car. A lot of it is, you know, these teams work so hard in the off season to get our cars as fast as possible, whether it's bodies or motors. So really the only things as drivers we can do is, one, hold a smooth wheel, but also getting off pit road is really important, to not stall it or bog it down, because it's hard to get these cars up to max speed in just one lap. So that's really the only job that we have that we hopefully don't mess up. And we worked hard on that yesterday to try to kind of maximize your pit road exit speed. But it's nice. I think we have a really fast car. It's just nice to be back at the racetrack again. But I think all the Fords are fast. I know Roush Yates have brought a great engine program to Daytona, and it's just nice to be back with everybody at Motorcraft and Quick Lane. So we stack up today. I'm pretty pumped.
I like the look of the old school throwback fire suit, too.
Absolutely. Ty Dillon, that's Austin's younger brother, but he's not racing for Richard Childress Racing. He's with Germain Racing. Booty Barker is his crew chief. Ty Dillon to make his third Daytona 500 start, and he's second fastest right now, 46.86.
It's not an RCR team, but it does have an alliance with them. But I'm kind of surprised that that's a great job by Booty and Ty and that team to actually outrun Austin Dillon in the RCR Chevrolet.
Yeah, that 13 car last year had some good runs at times. What they need to work on is getting more consistent, getting good runs every week, and maybe with Ty in the car and Booty, they can get something going.
Chase Elliott, second-generation driver. He was the pole sitter for the 500 here last year, and he returns for Hendrick Motorsports to the seat of this number 24 Chevrolet with Alan Gustafson as his crew chief.
Yeah, really curious to see what kind of speed they show in this number 24 Napa Chevrolet, because they were on 2 poles last year here at Daytona as well as in Talladega. Showed a lot of speed qualifying, but didn't show a lot of it yesterday in practice.
They finished 7th in the Clash earlier today, and we were laughing when it was over. I don't know if we ever mentioned him being in the race today, because we didn't talk about him very much.
8,400 down the backstretch into turn number 3.
Well, with that little bit of headwind, yesterday we were seeing 84, 85, so I think that little headwind's knocked a little bit of speed out. You can see a few sparks coming off that skirt off the right side. It's not totally unusual.
No, I think that means
She's getting
happy
down.
with how they've got it down.
Top of the board, 46.80. He pips Martin Truex by 0.02 of a second, 192.3. Jamie?
Daniel Suarez, the rookie here, trying to qualify here for the first time in the Daytona 500, but you had a good clash race, your first Cup race. What's on your mind now as you focus to trying to get the pole here?
Well, definitely, I feel like today has been super helpful for me. I feel like in the class race, I went to a school and I learned a lot from all these guys, and it's a lot of information, very good information for next week. And now it's everything about my team. They have done a really good job in the last couple of days finding a speed of this 19 average Toyota Camry, and so far very proud of them. I feel like we can have a shot for the top 5, and we'll see.
Top 5 for a rookie. We'll wait and see momentarily.
Well, I hope Daniel Suarez has his book bag and he's ready to go to school a lot this year, because, I mean, we saw he's a very quick learner in the Xfinity Series, but he's going to be learning a lot out there this year.
But what I really liked about him, since I've been watching him practice, he's very calm. I don't just like that interview, very calm.
A.J. Allmendinger returns to JTG Doherty Racing. Now a two-car team. Randall Burnett, the crew chief, for his 8th Daytona 500. But he is 8th quickest right now, 47.29. Bit of a drop-off there. California's Kevin Harvick is back with Rodney Childers and Stuart Haas Racing in the number 4. It was a Chevrolet last year, but as all the SHR cars now are Ford Fusions, as the two-time Daytona winner embarks on his 16th 500.
Every manufacturer, every engine has a little different tune to it. This is a little bit deeper sound than maybe one of the Chevrolets had, maybe one of the Toyotas had. It's just a little bit different sound. Not much, but to a driver, those sounds are important. He learns the sound of that engine and when he knows it's performing.
And we heard him over the radio. When he had 4 tires in the Clash, he liked the speed that this car had, or the one he had in the Clash.
I think that wind has picked up down the backstretch. Looking at the flags, it's quite a headwind. And Harvick, 46.86, is third fastest. Vince.
Brendan Gaughan and Elliott Sadler have locked themselves in on time. And Brendan, I know you've run the Daytona 500 before, but your owner has not. And I think that he's shed a lot of tears today. This is a pretty happy day for you guys.
Haven't seen him yet. I think he's still somewhere on the ground between here and there. Really thank to Mark Beard and the Beard Motorsports, Beard Oil guys. He's never made a Cup race, and we got him in his first Cup show at the Daytona 500. It's only my second one. I've run for Roger Penske and Mark Beard in the Daytona 500. So we're all pretty happy around here right now. Thank you to ECR, Richard Childress, for giving me that motor and all the little bit of help he gave that team, because we've run 3 laps. That's it. We did 2 laps yesterday and 1 lap today, and we're in the Daytona 500.
Well done. Eric Jones' car has cleared inspection. It's coming to the line now. That means everybody is out of inspection, as Kyle Busch for Adam Stevens and Joe Gibbs Racing tries to win his 2nd Daytona pole, his first for the 500. He has a pole and a win here. Both came in the July race. This will be Kyle's 12th 500. Third quick, 46.85. Larry McReynolds?
Yeah, we've been talking about the inspection issues that teams been having here at Daytona, and a lot has to do with the body itself, the templates that go across the body like that. But there is a lot of areas that teams can work in. With our Ford Cutaway car, we're going to look at the underside, and you see all these things hanging down: the bell housing, the tailpipes, the rear end, the fuel cell, the back of the rear bumper. So what we're going to show you, we have this new thing called Ford Fox Aero Tracks. Is this the airflow under the car? You can see up here at the splitter, this is the high pressure area. But as it goes underneath the car and all those different things disturb the air, then it becomes much more of a low pressure. So Jeff, the more you can clean that up, the better the car will perform.
Yeah, we see how the splitter is sealed down to the racetrack, but there is a gap, and there is air flowing underneath these cars. And one of the things I've heard a lot of the teams working on is, in order to get the drag out of the body of the race car, to keep some downforce in the car for race conditions, they're really focused on what's going on underneath that car. And any time that they can get the air to flow better, it's not only helping drag, but also helping the car suck down to the racetrack.
Wisconsin's Paul Menard finishes up his run. He's back with Richard Childress Racing. Matt Borland is the crew chief this year for the former Brickyard winner, and Menard is 6th fastest, 46.98. So the last 3 drivers, none of whom have been able to eclipse Chase Elliott's speed of 46.80 for last year's pole sitter. Here's Denny Hamlin. For Mike Wheeler and Joe Gibbs Racing, this will be his 12th Daytona 500. He is the defending champion of the great race.
Yeah, so far we've seen the magic of Alan Gustafson and those guys in that 24 Hendrick Motorsports bunch stepping it up here in qualifying. So now it's been put to the task for the rest of these teams to see if they can step it up from yesterday's times as well.
Most everybody's been right at what they ran yesterday. A few have picked up a little bit, a few have lost a little bit, but pretty much sticking right at what they ran yesterday.
And Elliott remains on top, 46.84 for Denny Hamlin, who started 11th or better in all the restrictor plate races last year. It all leads up to next Sunday, when America's Best return to the track for the Great American Race. The 59th Daytona 500 begins next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
Mike, look at those times. 46.08, or 80, I'm sorry. 46.82, 46.84, 46.85, 46.86, 86. The first 6 cars just blanket over each one of them, over all of them.
This is the most competitive qualifying session. We saw this in practice, and now we're seeing it again here in qualifying that I've ever seen down here in Daytona.
Hundreds, just a few hundreds is making the difference right now.
That could be just a tiny gust of wind on the back straightaway.
And there in turns 1 and 2, we heard a bit of skirt scuffing from Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion. Going to start his 16th 500. There you hear it again.
Yeah, it's just that little click. That means that really is a good thing. But that means the car's getting down in the racetrack like the team would want it to.
Tracking like he might be on the pole here for the time being.
It's going to be close.
No, 7th, 46.90.
Well, what's wrong with that track?
I'll be honest, the way his day went in the class, it's kind of pulled for him there.
Yeah,
because, gosh, that was a rough start to the day.
I think our tracker, just like we are, is so tight. The times are so close that the tracker's having trouble picking it up.
Johnson brought out 2 caution flags in the clash and did not finish that race for the 6th straight year. Matt Kenseth from Wisconsin, back with Jason Ratcliffe and Joe Gibbs Racing in the Toyota, 2-time winner of the 500. 14 top 10s in his 17 starts in this race. Right now, the quickest Gibbs Toyota is Denny Hamlin in 3rd, followed by Kyle Busch in 4th. In the 46.84-85 range, Chase Elliott quickest at 46.80, and that holds up. Kenseth 46.84 with a 0. Hamlin was 46.84 with a 5.
You know, DW and I were talking about, Kenseth would like to have another shot at that final corner, final lap of the Daytona 500 last year. He certainly has a fast race car to be able to maybe give him that shot this year.
Don't you hate to look back on races and say, I should have done this, or should have done it, or I wish I'd have done this, or wish I'd have done that? That drives you crazy.
Especially when it's the Daytona 500 at stake.
You're a few hundred yards from the finish line.
Ryan Newman with Luke Lambert and Richard Childress Racing, the 2008 Daytona 500 winner. We called him the Rocket Man back when he was winning a pole on an average of 1 every 4 starts earlier in his career. This will be his 16th Daytona 500. Sixth fastest for Newman, 46.859. Vince Welch.
They're all chasing Chase Elliott, last year's pole winner. Did you get everything out of that first run, or do you have something left for round 2?
I hope we have something left. I really didn't think my lap was all that good. I mean, obviously, it's really hard to tell a whole lot about your lap, but just a few of the things that you can tell from, as far as just speed, just the overall feel, wasn't really what I was hoping for. So it surprised me. I didn't expect to go that fast. So that's a good thing, and hopefully we can just address a couple of the small things that I noticed. Really, the only things you kind of can't notice or mess with here. So we'll try to make it better and go from there.
Thanks, Matt.
Vince, Eric Jones has the Furniture Row Toyota out on the racetrack for his qualifying attempt. And Joe Garone, your team president, now the cars are past inspection. The agenda now turns toward figuring out why your cars are off, especially in the grid area. You built a brand new grid in the offseason for the 2018 Toyota. Do you feel like that's where your issue may be?
Yeah, I think so, and it's a lot of things. You know, there's a lot of teams here that are having problems with the overall grid, and when you come here, you have your grid in the shop, and then NASCAR has theirs. It's not uncommon to be off a little bit. In our particular case, we're off way too much, and it's not in a favorable amount for us to make speed. And NASCAR's been really good about letting us get it right. And the bottom line is you have to fit the templates, and we're already planning on going back to Denver the first of the week here and tomorrow and work on our grids because we have another race coming and we got to get this straightened out.
Do you take it to NASCAR R&D and see how yours compares?
You know, that's something that you could do for sure, but we need to get in our shop and find out where the mistake is, where it's wrong and off, and it'll make it a lot easier at the racetrack. The guys won't have to work quite as hard. They've been working hard.
Mike?
We saw Eric Jones make his run. The rookie is 10th fastest in his Furniture Road Toyota with crew chief Chris Gale. And here is Kurt Busch with Tony Gibson and Stuart Haas Racing for his 16th 500. And that is off pace for being one of the final 15 drivers to run. He is 12th fastest right now. Won't make the final round of 12. 47.01.
46.86 he ran yesterday, so something didn't go right for that car.
So that assures Chase Elliott, who is fastest so far, of making it to the final round of 12 that will run for the pole.
Quite a bit of here the skirt dragging quite a bit on Dale's car.
Yeah, well, I think we've noticed that a little bit in practice yesterday as well. He was sitting pretty good yesterday. I think they may have even raced it up a little bit from there, but
tracking pretty good.
To see how our buddy from the booth earlier today does today.
See if he learned anything.
Yeah.
Two-time
He gave me
Daytona
pointers,
500
right?
winner.
I gave a few pointers. He picked up a few things.
One pole for Dale Earnhardt Jr. with crew chief Greg Ives, Hedrick Motorsports Chevrolet, making his first Cup Series start since Kentucky last July. Second, 46.81.
Good job. Yeah, get you some of that, boys.
And that will put Junior in the final round. Anybody surprised that 10 drivers now who practice faster than Chase Elliott have been unable to knock him off the top spot?
Well, that's why I was talking about going through the room of doom. You got to get everything, you get out there and practice. You may have things off just a teeny bit, and because the times are so close, you might be able to put up a fast lap. But when you go through the room of doom and everybody's the same, that's when when they turn Big Ben on today, that's when you know where you stand.
Well, what's new at Stuart Haas Racing, besides the switch to Ford, is Clint Boyer stepping into the seat of the now retired Tony Stewart. Mike Bugaravich, crew chief for Stuart Haas Racing. 22 Daytona starts for Boyer. He's been fourth here 3 times. This will be his 12th 500.
Boyer is elated. I'm just telling you, he's on cloud 9. He's got a competitive race car. He's got a great race team. Him and Bugger Rabbit, they remind me. I think they're going to work well together. I'm looking for some big things out of this.
And he's really good in the draft. You give him a good race car here at Daytona, and he can be a major factor.
I agree.
Boyer is 6th fastest, 46.85. That knocks Paul Menard out of the top dozen. Eric Jones goes to the bubble. Jamie.